Hello again, and here we go with yet another video in the NeoLemmix series. So this video is going to be about the grouping feature in the editor. Now I'm relatively new to using this. For the first couple of months after I started making levels, I never bothered using it because I didn't really see the point. Now as you'll see on my screen here, I've got 3 terrain pieces, and say I want to put them. These are from the pillar original style, in case anyone's wondering. So say if I wanted them in a certain position. This is just how I want them to be placed. And you're like, okay, that's good. Let's have a look what that looks like in clear physics. Yep, they're all connected, no gaps. So it's like, oh yeah, that's good, but I don't want it there. It's not in the right position. So what I've always done before is click and drag a box around them all, and then you need to hold down the left mouse button and then drag with your mouse or trackpad or whatever you're using on your particular item, and then you can move it. But say if you click off it and you don't realise, or you go, actually I don't want it there, and you move it and you don't re-highlight all 3 pieces, you're like, oh no, that's moved, and now it's not going to be in the exact same position. Well, that's really annoying because now I'm going to have to piddle about to put it back in the right place. Well, you can do undo, which will put it back where it was. But say you want to copy it, or you want to have the freedom to move it around easily, you might want to use the grouping feature. And here's how you do it. Now, you've got 2 options. You can do what I did before, which is click and drag a box around all the items you want to select. Or say if you've got another piece over here and you also like this, and you also wanted to include that in your grouping, you can select individual items. Like you'd click on one and then you need to press Control and then click on the other pieces you want to select, and then you can go to pieces, and if you just click on group, as you'll see now, the yellow line around it has become one big thing, which means that's now one big piece. So no matter what I do, that'll just move as one piece. So say if I wanted to repeat that, I can just duplicate it, and then I've got something exactly the same, and you can move it around or rotate it or whatever. And for something like this, that's a very simple thing, it really doesn't matter all that much because it's not the end of the world if you accidentally move something. It's relatively easy to undo. But if you're building up a very specific image, or if you're using a custom piece of artwork and you want things very precisely put, and also if you're making sure things are spaced a very precise amount of time for things like how far a lemming will fall before it splats, for example, or something like that, grouping becomes a really, really useful feature. And I'm trying to and it's also, I'll tell you when it's also useful, because say if you like this piece but you want to sort of cut a bit off it, so let me find there we go, triangular piece. I'm like, I don't really want that corner on it, so I'm just going to put that there. So you put a little triangle piece over the top, and then you click Erase Terrain. That disappears. Well, if you then move the whole thing, oh no, the piece that you erase stays where it is. But if you select over the whole thing and then group them together again, the erased piece stays erased. So this is really good because the thing with all these custom styles is whatever the creator's done as made to make them, that's just the way they look. And you might really like, for example, the colours, because there's some styles that I really like Jade, for example, where I really love the colours that have been used. I'm going to try and find Jade now so I can show you what I mean. There it is, Jade. Okay, so let me find a piece that I really like. Okay, say I pick something like this. Right, let's just delete that for the moment because I don't need that now. So say I've got that and I'm like, I really like those colours, but I don't need a big bit that chunky. So I just need to cut some of that off. So what's the easiest way to do it? Well, I'll just erase some of it. So let me find a better piece to erase with. Okay. So I just go like this and then erase that. And then say I want another piece cut off and erase that. And say I just want to make a random shape in it. Like that. Well, now if I wanted to move that about precisely, because I can't actually see the erased pieces, that becomes very difficult. So the easiest way to make sure that everything stays together, when you select around it, you can see all the individual little pieces that have been used. If I group it together, I've got one more manageable position, which makes it much easier to alter your design as you see fit. So that's the basic principles of usefulness for grouping, for the grouping feature. And say if you change your mind and you don't want it to be grouped anymore, it's just as simple as clicking on group, and then all the things go back into the individual pieces, and you can then remove the bits that you no longer want to use. Now, one thing I will say, I just need to find a relevant piece of terrain. So, as people may or may not know, there's different kinds of terrain. There's destructible terrain, like this on the left. Let me just, oh gosh. See, and that's what happens when you forget to regroup it. Things get all messed up. So I just need to regroup that. So group. And then, so yeah, you've got your destructible terrain here, which means a lemming can bash through it or dig through it or blow it up, or, you know, all the different skills that you can use. And then you've got indestructible terrain like steel and something like this. Now, say if I only wanted the lemming to be able to dig a certain distance down, or I didn't want it to go up from, you know, so I just put a bit of steel there. I'm like, okay, well, now it can only dig sort of on either side. It can't go through this middle bit because it'll get blocked by this piece of steel. Well, if I try and group those, you'll see that on the left, the grouping button is greyed out, which means I can't group them. And that's because it doesn't allow you to group mixed terrain. Now, I can, if I wanted multiple pieces of steel to be grouped together, I can group those. So basically it's, if you want to group pieces, they have to be of the same type, either destructible or indestructible, not a mix of both. And you also can't group objects. This is only something that works for terrain pieces. So I hope that was a little bit useful, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.